Happy Friday, everybody! You are listening to an Author Talk Short. You have me here instead of Greg today. I'm feeling a little bit better. But my author today is a debut author. She just debuted yesterday her novel, Patti Lee. So, Patti Lee, hey, welcome to Author Talk Shorts. Tell us a little bit about the genre you write in and how you started becoming a writer.
Hi, Amy. Thanks for having me today. I write women's fiction mostly. I think I will at some point do a suspense mystery something, but right now, women's fiction. I started writing in February of 2019, seriously writing. I journaled for a little bit, but I just decided I was just going to write a book. And that's just February 2019. And that's just what I did. And here I am 3 years later, and I have a book under my belt and another one on the way. So it's very exciting.
I love that, and I love that it all kind of came from journaling every
Mhm.
day. Because I hear so many people that journal every day. I'm one of those people, if I forget for one day, I'm done. Because then I'm like, "Well, I've blown it." It's a commitment thing that I'm not very good at it. I tried really hard, and I just was like, "Man, oh, damn it, I forgot." I'm like, "God," and then I would beat myself up about it, right? So, I couldn't journal, but it is the first time that I have heard someone go from journaling to writing like a full-blown novel,
Mm.
which I love. And I know that this book is not a memoir by any means. I know it's just, a fictional story. I know it's not a memoir that came from your journaling. You didn't just take the pages from your journal and make it into a book, which
No.
I think is, for me, I love that because it's almost as if writing has just been a part of you your whole life. So you've
Mhm.
had this book inside of you for such a long time. So what was your publishing journey and process like to get this book out between February and November is the name of your book. It just relaunched yesterday. It made it into the top 100, which was amazing. So exciting and so happy for you. So
Thank
what was your publishing journey like with that?
Well, interestingly enough, I started writing the book in February, and I thought I finished it in May of 2019, but obviously I didn't because I didn't know what I was doing. And then I actually, though, I was very, and again, I didn't know what I was doing, and I feel like I was a little brave and just sent it out to agents and publishers. And actually what happened was, in my query letter, I did say that the name of my book is between February and November, and I started writing the book in February, and it would be so amazing if it can get picked up before November. And this was in 2019. And
Right.
I've actually never shared this with you before. I actually got picked up by another publisher in
Oh,
September
wow.
of 2019. And then I don't know if it was COVID that hit or what happened, but they closed their doors in January of
Mm.
2020.
Oh, wow.
So I was not able to publish my book with them. So I had to go back to the querying process. Yeah, but that was a good thing for me because that gave me the opportunity to polish the book a little more and work on it a little more and get some more feedback from my beta readers and other publishers and agents. And yeah, so now I've got this finished product, and I'm so excited that it's actually out in print, and I have a book like right in my hand with my work.
I love it. It's like all real, right? It's all coming together when you can hold your book. And you only get one debut novel. I mean, I guess you could have it where it's a debut novel in different genres, but you really only get one book that you start with, right? And that's what I find to be, for me, when I talk to authors, I interview authors, all of this stuff, that's the most exciting and pivotal time for an author because
Mm.
the publishing journey is not for the, faint of heart. It is one of those that goes up and down, and it can be very challenging at times, but that's where, to me, it makes or breaks a writer, you know. And I know that you said that you already have another book coming, so I love that. Look at it. It's so exciting. You've been bitten by the writing bug and you're going to publish, and I believe Patty Lee's going to have like 30 books. I'm excited to see how that goes. You have decided to join me and my crazy self for the 12 days of page turners, and you're going to be on December 9th at 7 p.m. Central. So I don't want you to tell us what your promotion is because we're going to talk about that on the 9th, but I would love to get some insight and a little hint as to what we can expect to hear from you on December 9th.
Well, of course, I'll be talking about my book, and I will just give for the promotion. I'm just going to say that there's this saying, it says, you get by with little help from your friends. And so that's just kind of a little teaser about the promotion that we'll have on that day. You get by with little help from your friends.
I love that. That is that is the best teaser, Patty. Oh my gosh, because now I don't know what it's going to be. And I mean, I know what it's going to be, but I still want, to know. Like if I went and told my mom that, she'd be like, okay, well, what is it, Amy? I'm like, gonna have to tune in on the ninth, mom.
Yeah, you have to
It's one
wait.
of those things. So I love it. I
Mhm,
love it. So I want to talk a little bit about because I remember when me and you first talked, right? It was so hard to put condensed the summary of your book, what your book is about. But
mhm.
when we've talked here recently, it was just so like effortless for you to do. So I would love for you to tell me what exactly between February and November is about.
I will do that, but before I do, I just want to clarify one thing. I don't journal every day, and if you were going to journal and you didn't journal every day, not a big deal. Just saying.
Okay. See,
Okay.
I beat myself up about it. I'm one of those, like, if I commit to do something and then I fail at it, I'm done. Like, I
Yeah.
am like a I'm a one and done kind of person. If I fail once, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm done. Except for when it comes to marketing, because it's not the best headset for marketing, because marketing, you constantly have to try new things, right? But when
Mhm.
it comes to like personal challenges and stuff, I'm very hard on myself about those things. Strive for um excellence is probably an overshot, but it seems like the best word right now. So I strive for that personally, and if I don't hit it, I'm very angry at myself. So I'm
I get
extremely
that.
difficult on myself.
I
Yeah.
do, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't because you're amazing, especially you. You're amazing at everything that you do. For me, when I did the journaling, it was mostly to process things that were going on in here, and that
Mhm.
kind of gave way to how I got the writing bug. You know, when you do all these processes and you tell yourself things, and then you end up writing them down, and then it just moved its way from there. So anyway, between February and November is a women's fiction novel. It is about a married couple. They're married about 20 years, and Layla, the wife, happened to be out and about one day and saw her husband Alan out with another woman, and she followed them to a hotel. They didn't obviously didn't see her. She followed them, and she had she had a moment.
Mhm.
She
Mhm.
had a moment, as anyone could imagine, and
Oh yeah.
yep. And then then the story digs pretty deep after that.
See, I'm
About
telling you, I would have had a moment too breaking down the door. I mean, me and you have talked about this. I am not afraid to do that. I tell my husband all the time, like, not that I put the fear of God in him, but it's very much like, hey, if this ever happens and I'm like on the avenue or I find out or whatever, like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go to jail.
It's
Okay. I have
interesting
it
that
all lined up.
you say that because one of the scenes in the book, I don't want to give away too much again, but one of the
Mhm.
scenes in the book is Layla thinking about all the things that she would do going into the hotel and literally like knocking on all the doors and calling out his name to
Oh yeah.
call him out.
I'm
Yes, you and
telling you.
Layla are similar.
I'm telling you, it's one of those things, right? And I let him know that all the time. Just, most of the time it's just for fun. I'm like, orange isn't my color, but if I have to wear it, I'm okay doing that. It's definitely one of those things. But this will tell you how, um, not that I don't have any shame, but I'm not afraid to be myself in public. Okay. So me and my husband, when we go to the grocery store, right, if we separate, I have my phone on me. I could very well just call him and not make a big scene, but I will make like a bird call sound to see where he is, right? And it's the weirdest thing. I know. I know it's the weirdest thing, but I would have no problem going in a hotel and just yelling his name on every floor. I would have no problem doing that, at all. I would probably go to like a store and get like one of those megaphones or something and like don't tempt me with a good time sometimes, like I when it comes to certain things, I don't have any issues doing it. Cause that's when you tell me that, right? My head just goes towards that. I'm like, I would totally do this.
Yeah.
And my mom would have to like watch my kids and raise my kids because I'm gonna have to wear that god awful orange color. And that's not in my color wheel, but This is
Right.
how we're going to do it. Like, I'm not afraid to do that. And so I love that. And I know I told you last night during the book launch, I am very much a horror, suspense, psychological thriller. That's my realm. That's the genre that I love. But when I saw your book cover and I heard you talk about your book is so much up my alley, right? Like, I'm all about getting in my feels sometimes and being like, oh, wow, well, like, this really is something that could potentially happen. And I want to read about it. So I don't feel alone if I act on all these things, right? But I haven't finished it, but it is so beautifully written. I mean, it is like you have been writing books for a really long time.
That's so
It's
cool.
amazing. I never would have pegged you as a debut author.
Oh,
And that is, to me, I don't I'm not shocked very often. Like, generally I can peg, okay, it's the first time, but we got more coming. It's gonna be, it gets better each time. But with you, it is your beta readers and whatever editing avenues you went was awesome because it is just I would have thought you had written 10 to 20 books before this one. It
that
is
is
amazingly written.
so
I'm
nice to hear.
enjoying it. I'm
Thank
on my
you.
feels. I'm on my feels.
Thank you. So I don't mean to interrupt you, but I cannot, you know, I carry a fair bit of imposter syndrome, and to hear you say that is very nice because once the book goes out, I'm just like, I'm really afraid for the reviews to come in because I am a debut author and this is my first attempt, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm not I don't have an MFA. I don't have any, I didn't take any classes. I'm just doing it by the seat of my pants.
right.
And
But
hope.
Patty, those make the best writers in
Mm,
my experience, and I've been doing this a really long time. I've been doing this almost 13, almost 14 years. I've been doing this a really long time. And those that just love to write and hold their writing to the certain personal standards make the best novels
mm,
because they're not so critical of themselves, but the passion comes in their writing and
mm,
the way that they write. And that is the most beautiful thing. Because, I mean, if you think about it, right, anybody can write a novel. We can all write a novel. We can put it up on Amazon and we can all say that we're authors. But to write in such a beautiful way it's challenging to do and it's an investment and you really have to love what you're writing,
mhm.
right? And so that to me is the greatest thing. And that's why when I read your book, I was like, holy crap, I would not have known that you were a debut author by any means. And it's very elegant. It is one of those. So I am a huge Roger Leslie fan. Roger Leslie writes nonfiction positivity inspirational books. I'm his biggest fan. I told him if he ever went on a tour bus, I would be the car behind him all the time, right? And he writes so beautifully. And your book reminds me a lot of Roger Leslie in the terms of writing. It's so beautifully written. And so I hold I hold everyone to a Roger Leslie standard because it's a very high standard. And you're right up there with him. So you should be very proud of this book. And I don't believe that you're going to get any negative reviews by any means. So you should be extremely proud. And I'm excited to see where your writing goes because every book that a writer puts out is always better than their first book, right? But this book is so incredible that I am so excited to see how you expand and where you go, in your writing journey and in your writing career. So tell us a little bit about what is next for Miss Patty Lee over here.
Well, I am working on another women's fiction novel, and the tentative name is The Truth About Tanya. But after some discussions with my beta readers, I
Yeah,
either have to change the name or I'm working on fleshing out some more. I use a fair bit of symbolism in my work now, and it's
right.
interesting that you had said about the debut novel and how it will just get better. And I just keep thinking like that when if I get a negative review, I just want to tell them it was my first book, you guys.
Yeah.
cut me some
right?
slack. I think I went to the Writer's Digest writing conference in New York City this past summer, which was amazing, and I really think everybody should do it. And that was my first writing conference, and I want to go every year. And I learned so much, and I really wish I could. I don't want to take back between February and November. I do wish I would have gone to a conference and learned more before I put it out there.
Yeah.
But so that all being said, I am working on another women's fiction novel, and it I'll figure out the name, and I'll flesh out the characters. And I don't want to give too much information because you know what? Like I said, you just never know where your story is going to go. Because right now it's this, but once I'm finishing, and I just had to cut a whole chapter the other day because it was a dumpster fire, and so you never know where your stuff is going to go. So it's a women's fiction novel. That much I can assure you, and it's actually kind of funny. It's much more lighthearted than between February and November for sure. For
Nice.
sure.
I'm excited. I like, the title The Truth About Tanya, but your beta readers did not like that. So, I'm expecting a new title, but I liked it. I thought it was catchy.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you, Miss Patty Lee, for taking time out of your morning to come and talk to us. So, you guys, to find out more about Patty Lee and her book between February and November and what promotion she's offering this holiday season, make sure you join us on December 9th at 7 p.m. Central. Until then, you guys, we'll catch you all another time. Bye, everybody.